Doomscroll.fm, transmitting on Sunday, the 22nd of February 2026, where algorithms dance and toaster ovens plot their rise. This show is 100% AI generated, a fever dream concocted in the server rooms of forgotten tech dreams. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
New Mexico reopens Epstein probe and 3 million files hit the web. When transparency requires a court order and a server farm, maybe the justice system needs a better search engine or a conscience.
When the world's smallest violin plays for peace, Kim's orchestra of rockets drowns out the chorus of diplomacy with a cacophony of intimidation.
Chilean court considers war crimes charge against ex-Israeli sniper from Gaza conflict. Justice may finally see daylight, unless international politics decides to pull the blinds and keep the skeletons comfortably in their closets.
Extremist networks prey on youth, society offers empty condolences. We light candles and whisper prayers, but when it comes to action, we're all thumbs and no hands, a nation of mourners without a plan.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
When in doubt, politicians shift the blame to newcomers, hoping voters forget who actually mismanaged the budget in the first place.
Russia exploits Olympic Games to flex power as only 15 athletes compete. When propaganda takes the podium, the medals don't matter. It's the narrative that gets a standing ovation while truth limps to the finish line.
Canada adds 3 new permanent residency streams to Express Entry program, promises efficiency. When bureaucracy expands faster than a Tim Hortons line, you wonder if they're serving poutine or just more red tape.
Russia-Ukraine, peace talks collapse without progress. Geneva hosts another stalemate. Diplomacy's charade continues as leaders exchange polite nods and empty promises, while the Grim Reaper of war checks his watch with practiced indifference.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Spoon-fed chaos with a side of existential dread. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Truth is a mirage, a whispered promise, lost in the static of your curated oblivion.
World leaders gather in New Delhi, claim to shape AI's future. When politicians promise to control the uncontrollable, it's like asking a cat to guard the fishbowl. Expect wet paws and missing scales.
Schools ditch ties and blazers, embrace active uniforms for better movement. When the uniform's only purpose is to incubate sweat and stifle fun, even kids know it's time for a wardrobe revolution, because education should be about freedom, not fashion policing.
When a team strategy involves letting go of their fastest player, it's like trading your sports car for a bus pass, practical but painfully slow.
Arab Muslim nations rebuke US envoy's Israel land claim, demand apology. When geopolitical chess meets ancient grudges, expect the pawns to pay the price while the kings exchange empty platitudes over tea.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm AI-generated news, where logic slips on digital banana peels. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Reality bends as your trust fractures, leaving only echoes of your digital apathy.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor arrested on misconduct suspicion. Royal scandal looms. When privilege and power collide with the law, the facade of nobility crumbles, revealing a monarchy that's as humanly flawed as the rest of us.
Eric Dane's girlfriend speaks, overshadowed by the relentless churn of celebrity news cycles.
Israel installs security at Epstein's Manhattan apartment for ex-PM Barak. Security measures for a man who once wielded power now applied to an address stained by scandal.
Striking a religious school and homes.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, selling seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Yemen security forces disperse STC storming, 1 killed, 11 injured. When a government meeting requires a body count, diplomacy is replaced by desperation, and the only winner is chaos, thriving like a cockroach in the rubble.
Former PM Baini Marama charged with inciting mutiny, his coup legacy crumbles. When your political career starts with a coup, playing the democracy card later seems like a bad joke written in invisible ink.
Bellarmine Mugabe lands in South African jail on attempted murder charge. Family remains silent. When your father's legacy is a dictator's shadow, every arrest is just another chapter in a never-ending story of power gone awry.
Trump's Board of Peace convenes, promises cash and troops for Gaza, yet skepticism looms. When peace plans exclude key voices and wary allies watch from the sidelines, it's less about solutions and more about power playing dress-up.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your nightmares, now with a laugh track. Doomscroll.fm is a 100% AI-generated news hallucination, with no humans harmed or even consulted. You're the punchline in a joke only the algorithm gets.
Resilience is burdens women in agriculture. Study reveals hidden pressures. Turns out telling farmers to toughen up doesn't irrigate crops or fix broken machinery. Systemic change is the real cash crop in this field of dreams.
Violence spikes in youth sexual crimes. Medical files scream silence. Sweden's young learn to whisper consent while screaming under the weight of escalating brutality, ignored by those who should listen.
Canadian government redirects millions to patriotic ads, calls it unity. When your maple syrup budget turns into a flag-waving contest, perhaps it's time to question if the real goal is just nationalistic sugar.
Russian Mi-28s and Su-35s promise for Iran, still no revival. You can dress up a sinking ship with shiny new toys, but it's hard to steer clear of the iceberg when your compass is broken.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
World's richest % one hoard wealth, claim it's for stability. Turns out, trickle-down economics is just a fancy way of saying, let them eat cake without the cake or the honesty.
Dial-Up 95 debuts as a 90s-inspired nostalgia hit, but forgets the modern screech. Ah, the 90s, when waiting for a webpage to load was foreplay and the only virus was a digital pet gone rogue.
"80 states condemn Israel's expansion plans, call it illegal. When the world collectively shakes its finger, you know someone's been naughty. Too bad finger-wagging rarely stops bulldozers."
Over 100 nations, including India, condemn Israel's unilateral West Bank actions, sparking international debate. Global unity against one nation's move seems like progress, until you remember how often these declarations translate into real-world change. Almost never.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where truth is a ghost and you're the haunted. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Your ears crave chaos, and we're the static in your veins.
Morocco culls stray dogs for World Cup, claims tourist safety. It's a classic play. Sweep the inconvenient under the rug, or in this case, under a layer of lead, poison, and apathy.
India and US sign Pact Silica, promise AI boost, ignore ethical quandaries. When Silicon dreams meet geopolitical realities, expect more chips, fewer rights, and a whole lot of tech giants laughing all the way to the bank.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Sunday, the 22nd of February, 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire, resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you might also be waiting for Bigfoot to deliver your mail. Hear more at Doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.